What's up, you guys? It's K-Mac again, here to do another Tophia commentary on one of the lovely Tophia Archives videos. I actually opened it on her page really quick, just to give a sort of type of shout out to show that this is the channel you should be checking out, not just listening to me if you want to watch Tophia, because I just have not been able to keep up with this output. Like, some of these are so long, and I'm not like down to the point yet where I have it, you know, like down to a science, or I'm keeping it. Again, I'm aiming for like a 1.5 to 1 ratio of minutes. So like every 90 seconds I have is 60 seconds of hers. But I've been getting closer to like a 2 to 1, meaning, you know, like a 40 minute from her is 80 from me. So I'm trying to avoid that. But I wanted to go on here just so we could see the thumbnail of the newest video, Zero Self-Awareness. Any of you guys that have been watching any of my videos, just as long as you've seen more than one of them, you should probably know I have said multiple times that Tophia might be the least self-aware and self-actualized person alive, which is a crazy claim if you think about it, but it's definitely possibly true. So anyway, usual shout out to Heinsbug, shout out to Santoki. I know they don't know who I am. Shout out to Tophia Archive, the lovely Tophia Archive, who is kind enough to respond to me and interact with me and stuff. So she's awesome, and she's again the one that makes all this possible. And shout out to Vocal the Slug Cat, left a very nice comment on my recent video, telling me to keep up the grind. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. Again, my wife's working from home, so I went outside, and once again, I'm stuck in this stupid fucking stairwell because the garden I want to go to is filled with people. And again, if I go to that garden and I'm staring at a computer screen, you know, recording myself talking to it, I'm essentially being Tophia. Like, that's what she does. She just goes to public places and streams, regardless of who's walking, who's nearby, who's doing other stuff, who doesn't want to hear her talk. So instead, I went to the opposite end of the building where there is no garden. It's the same size like asphalt, and then there's a little stairwell. And the reason I'm in the stairwell is because the country I'm in is like over 90 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe over 95 today. Might even be over 100. And on top of that, the humidity here is crazy. It's like, I'm from New York, and people don't realize how hot New York gets in the summers. It gets super, like, it'll hit like 90, 95 with like 80% humidity. It's horrible. It'll be sometimes as bad as Florida. It's like on that same scale, because it's on the Atlantic. It just doesn't last for as long as somewhere like Florida that's more south. But the point I'm trying to make is, like, I get heat like this back where I'm from, and this is still way worse because it's like this here 24/7, 365. Because I come here, like, during the winter months, too, and it is still just as hot. And again, I've said many times, I'm just like, you know, your average middle-aged white dude, you know? And I don't do too well in the sun, so that's why I'm sitting in a little stairwell instead of like just sitting right out on that asphalt, because I'm actually shaded from the sun here, and I'm literally like already so hot I'm just like drenched in sweat. So anyway, I did shout outs to the other creators, and now shout outs to my fans. We got shout out to Ray D, shout out to so yeah, I think I just said shout out to Ray D, just want to make sure I said it. Shout out to Some Jing. I always hope I get that one right. That one's hard. I don't know why it's hard for me to remember. And then shout out to Scott Lee Puff. Those are the three. There's one other person that left a comment, and I'm really sorry I don't remember your name right now. I will look it up for the next one. You know what? I'll try and see if I can find it now. If I see it anywhere. But I don't know if it's on any of these videos. No, I can't find it right now. I'm sorry to the last person that's been watching. I just can't find your name right now. I'm sorry. But I know that you're out there. So, 1 second, guys. Let me set up everything and turn off this boulder crap. And, okay. Sorry, like about 4 minutes to get started up here, but whatever. We made it, guys. Did all the shout outs. I already started watching this. I think I might have even finished it last night. No, I couldn't. Well, actually, I might have finished it this morning if it came out 5 hours ago. But so the last video, just to like give a quick recap of where we were. God, and I might have to pause at some point. My laptop's really good, except for the battery. It's got like a half-sized normal laptop battery, so it stays charged. It like only holds like a 3-hour charge usually. And that's with me doing like super basic shit. So I don't know how long this one will hold, but we should have enough time to do this. But anyway, just to pick off where we were last time, Tophia was rediscovering even more about her discovering even more about her sexuality, claiming she was pansexual, claiming she was all sorts of, the normal Tophia stuff. But it did seem like she had finally stopped crashing out. And the impression I'm getting from that, from some comments I've been reading and stuff, is it sounds like she might have stopped crashing out because she got out of that tent that she was in and is now back in a shelter, because she seems to be just like lounging around, super comfortable. The angle she's shooting at, like you could tell she's just laying back, like she's not sitting. You could tell when she's sitting in her videos, right, versus like leaning back, like laying back, getting all comfortable. You see her gigantic jeans and her, you know what I mean? Like I've talked about the shot composition last time even. So, like she's clearly not in a tent anymore. Or if she is, she's become accustomed to it and is no longer crashing out over it. But I think that those people had a really good theory about that the reason she's not crashing out as hard as she was is because she's back. She's not out of that. She's out of that tent. Now she's back at least inside of a building with air conditioning. But that tent ain't far away again, Tophia, I promise you that. Anyway, let's get going, guys. Sorry, this is a long intro.
That's what he was trying to get into the car the whole time.
It's super quiet. There we go. Sorry, hang on a second. What is going on? Sorry, hang on a second, guys. Something weird just happened. I'm sorry, guys. I should have paused for this. Just 1 second. I'm trying to get this. I don't know what happened with OBS there. It's like black right now.
You could have took my life instead of my brother's.
What is going on? Hang on a second, guys. I honestly don't know what's going on with. I don't know what's going on right now. Why my OBS all of a sudden stopped working. Is it picking up on here? I feel like I'm losing my mind. It's not picking up on either of these? Oh, wait, there we go. Sorry, guys. This was like a waste of 2 minutes right here. I don't know what the fuck is happening. Why this all of a sudden disappeared. Like, I still have the first tab open. I'm very confused. I'm sorry about that, guys. I have no idea what just happened. That was like a waste of 2 minutes for this intro, and now I feel bad because the intro is like fucking 10 minutes long. I don't know what just happened there. It was really odd.
Why he kept trying to get into the car, and I have survivor's guilt. It could have been me. I wish we would have helped.
She gets into that later, but I left a comment about real survivor's guilt concerning my dad, and she has no fucking concept of what it could truly be like. I do believe she might have some. Again, I totally think that she does have PTSD from that. That's a fucking traumatic-ass event for anyone to go through, whether you're as crazy as Tophia or as sane as a normal person. But survivor's guilt, I don't know if she has that, because survivor's guilt manifests a lot differently than sadness and depression on its own. Just from my experience, having a family member go through it, like to the point where they were driven to alcoholism, or they were already an alcoholic, but to the point where they were driven to such extreme alcoholism they needed a new liver. So
he came up too far. He could have took my life instead of my brother's.
Subscribe.
Yeah, he could have.
Please.
Could have taken both your lives, honestly. You don't even think about that either. You could have shot all three of you, thrown your asses out of the car and took it.
Yes, it is a switch.
Somehow, of course, you were the lucky one that didn't get shot, too. Your mother and brother both got shot. But your brother, the only one who was working, is the one that died, of course. And your mother, the only one contributing, like, a somewhat significant amount of money because you make $11 a month, was also shot. It's kind of like almost... It's not ironic, but like it's like what a coincidence that the one that's not working, that brings in no income to help them during those times, is the one that gets away with no injuries.
Switch 2.
Sorry, I'll try and pause less.
Switch 2. You're not that rich for a Switch 2.
Yeah, you're not that rich for a Switch 2. I actually don't want to spend the money on a Switch 2 either. I could, but it'd be a bad use of $500 for me right now when I'd rather like either invest that or put it into my savings account. Because I have a Switch 1 and there aren't really any exclusives on the Switch 2 yet. They're all just really like upscale, they're like upgraded Switch 1 games, you know, like you'll download like a patch for like Zelda and it makes it run at 60 FPS at like 4K or 1080p or whatever it runs at on the Switch 2 when it's docked versus, you know, whatever. But I mean, like, Tophia, saying you're not rich enough to have a Switch 2, the thing costs $450, lady. Even on my meager salary, I could buy like 5 of those in a month.
What game am I playing? I'm playing GTA Vice City, but not right now.
I also bought the GTA Trilogy on Switch, and not only was GTA Trilogy in the first place one of the worst ports ever made by Grove Street Games. I'm so off topic right now, but it's such a POS game because it was a port of the mobile games, which were a port of the PC games, which were ports of the original console games, which had stuff like physics tied to frame rate and stuff like that. So I bought that, and it's actually the worst version out of all of the worst versions. Like the Switch one, the textures look actually worse than the original textures. They don't load them, but it's not this. It looks worse than the original. That's all I'll say. And I have the original on Steam still, even though you can't get it anymore. Like, I still have it. I'm sorry, I'm so off topic now, and we're like 10 minutes in, but yeah, it's like the worst fucking ports ever. And of course she bought, like, I bought it too, but that's also because I had, you know, like a 22-hour flight and layover and shit ahead of me, you know. Like, and I just really wanted to play GTA San Andreas again, and it's so fucking bad on the Switch. I honestly like regret buying it. Fuck. Sorry guys, I just cracked my head in the cement stairway. I'm gonna move down a step because for some reason there's a gigantic piece of jutting cement out right next to where my head was, which I just fucking cracked on. So back to here. Sorry guys. That hurt.
I heard her say that.
So this is what I talk about when she talks about, like, she's talking about, like, stuff from elementary school and middle school. Courage the Cowardly Dog? Like, who fucking cares? First of all, I didn't like that show. I thought it was creepy, and I'm not a horror person. So, like, I didn't really like that show, but it's from when you were a child. Like, that shit was out when I was in, like, elementary and middle school. What the fuck are you... like, what does it matter now?
My mom cried when
your mother, a 50-something-year-old woman who would have been 30 in her 30s when Courage the Cowardly Dog came out, cried when she met the voice actor. I don't really know what to... I want to call that pathetic, but I don't think I need to. Like, that is... I don't even know if I believe that. Like, because she's such a pathological liar. Why would your mom cry? She loves Courage that much?
Courage. And he signed her shirt. I believe he put it in his shirt when I said he didn't. So he might have lost the shirt in the car. I'm so sad. Oh.
Why are you sad? It wasn't even your shirt.
For love. That's what he said. And he even, I forget what he signed it, one of his names. It's so busy, I never would have thought of it. You met these people from my childhood.
Okay, they're not people from your childhood. It was a voice actor. Courage the Cowardly Dog was not a real person, Tophia.
I love Courage.
You didn't meet people from your childhood. You met a voice actor of a cartoon. That's totally different. Do I need to explain to people here how different that is? They're not even close to the same thing. I mean, what are we talking about, Tophia? It makes no sense. You can't believe you met all these people from your childhood. They were voice actors. It's not like you met Steve from Blue's Clues. Even that would make more sense because he's a human that you see on TV who was from your childhood. Courage the Cowardly Dog was a cartoon from your childhood, not a person. Sorry guys, I'm already pausing. It's 2 minutes in. God, I'm so bad.
Watch Courage. It would be, I think we would
She loves it so much, but she can't even remember like what she did before and after it, or like when she watched it exactly.
Because I know I watched Lilo and Stitch, but I can't remember if it was after school. But I know I watched Teen Titans Go, and then it was Courage all the time.
That was definitely not. I could just say that was almost guaranteed not to be before school, because there's the cartoons that we watched like before school were not that. I remember when I was really, really young, Pokemon was on before school, and I just didn't wake up early enough for it. And then there was like one or two other cartoons that did, but no one I knew really watched them. Courage definitely was not in the morning. I can guarantee that. He was part of the afternoon toon block, like before Toonami even, like whatever it was called before that. I'm showing my age here. I just referenced Toonami. Also, I don't really like anime and stuff like that, so I hated Toonami mainly. I only liked one or two shows on it.
People actually care. That's what annoys me. Is like people are really able to get guns in their hands easily, and how is that easily accessible to people that have mental health issues?
Tophia, this is like one of the biggest conversations and political points in the entire country right now is about access to guns. So I don't know how you don't understand it, because it's clear what's been going on. There's huge amounts of money being poured in by gun lobbyists compared to anti-gun lobbyists who have nowhere near as deep pockets. The only ones that are really in a position to fight them are like the Sandy Hook relatives of the victims, because they got a huge settlement out of Alex Jones, so they actually are in a position to like use that money to try and also lobby and affect change. But like, what do you mean you don't understand it? We live in America. You live in New Mexico. You could probably buy a gun there with a fucking Ralph's card, like as your ID, And you know what's so ironic is I actually need to petition my court, because I did probation. Totally nonviolent. It was a possession charge. Didn't involve another person. But apparently, if you're ever convicted of any drug offense, you totally lose the right to ever own a firearm again, unless the court restores it to you, which I have to do. Now, they just ruled that that's unconstitutional, or rather, that it's unconstitutional to prevent to like ask someone if they're addicted to marijuana and deny them a gun based on that. So I don't know if that will affect mine, but what I need to do is something called a petition for certificate of relief of disabilities, and I need to ask a judge to please restore these rights to me. Now, I'm lucky I'm not a felon, so like I still have pretty much all the most important rights, right? Like right to vote, right to whatever. Now, you might consider the right to own a gun equally as important as those. To me, it's not. I've never even shot a gun in my life. But I'd like to be able to get rid of that so I could like potentially go hunting with some relatives, and also I would like to buy a shotgun for my house. Never shot a gun in my life, but I feel like keeping a shotgun in your house isn't the worst idea. So. And again, I'm from New York. Like, I know shit about guns. Like jack and shit. Like, I mean, I've seen handguns and stuff, and I've seen shotguns and, long guns when I've gone down to relatives who hunt and stuff. That's what I'm talking about, like, down there. But, yeah, I mean, like, I don't really believe in owning handguns or guns too much in general. Like, if you want to own one, like I'm aiming for, like, for home defense, that's okay. But the people out there who buy, like, dozens of guns, I don't know, I just don't get it, But everyone has their own hobbies.
There's been more gun violence. There was literally just...
Okay, so this is debatable. There's been more mass shootings, although violent crime has been on a very steady downward trajectory since I believe either the 60s or 80s. The reason that it doesn't seem that way is because the reporting on incidents of violence have gone up. I learned this in a sociology and violence class taught by a guy named Jack Levin, who's a famous criminologist who was at Northeastern. The only exception to that was COVID, where there was a spike in certain types of violent crimes, in particular domestic violence. But otherwise, we've been on a very, very downward trend for violent crimes in general. Now, gun violence is a different thing because different states classify different things as different types of gun violence. And federally, it's hard to keep track of it. But yes, gun violence is a huge problem in this country. Whether it's gotten worse or not, I wouldn't argue that, because since violent crime's been going down, that would generally imply that murder and gun crimes have gone down too.
He had a small following of like...
I'm 20 minutes in for 2 minutes, you guys. Oh no, that's why I forgot to...
He had that large of a fall.
This is my fault, you guys. because when it stopped working, I just realized my speed up disappeared. I'm like, why are we nowhere into this video?
Providing a state, and I guess apparently someone unalived him, and then the police unalived him.
I love how they always have like people unalived him. I can't say it on social media. He killed himself. You could say that. Apparently they don't like the S word, but you could definitely say he took his own life. Like, why do you have... it's such like a childish thing to say, unalive themselves. Like, that's stuff that like kids on the internet said to get around filters. Like, you could just say he took his own life like an adult. No adult says you unalive yourself. Like, it's so bizarre.
Yeah, like, 5 or 6 shots into the guy. And it's just like, it's so crazy to think because, not too long ago, a young boy who, this young boy get blanked down, I can't say it. And
once again, you can't say it. Why can't you just say he was killed? Like, you keep it super general. You don't have to be in specifics like they blew his brains out. Just say he was killed. He died earlier than he should have. Like, there's a million other ways you could say this that don't make you sound like a 5-year-old. I don't get it.
Right.
She can't... did she just spell that wrong? Undead?
Boy who, this young boy get...
Please, no.
Blanked down, I can't say it. UNDED or whatever.
UNDED. See, you guys wonder why I pause every fucking minute, and why this is already 21 minutes long. Tophia just spelled undead UNDED. So she spelled it undid. Just to pronounce that how she spelled it. She said undid, not undead. Undid.
Right.
Almost like undid, but undid.
Downtown, he seen this young boy get for no reason. He said there was no reason, there was no argument, there was no fighting. Yeah, I get that. There was no fighting, nothing. They just, it's crazy. Every day,
what are you doing about it? That's a good question. What do you do? What are you doing about it, Tophia, besides complaining about it and that it happened to you? Yes, it happened to you. Let me ask you a question. The people from Sandy Hook, several of the parents, after it happened, have been non-stop pumping out commercials with all the money that they want, and they're out there taking center stage trying to make actual changes in this country so that what happened to their poor children will never happen to other children again. That's what they're out there doing. Someone who lost their own child. You lost your brother. And what you're doing is sitting in a homeless shelter with a switch in your hands complaining about violence.
I saw the boy...
Yes, you suffered violence once in your life, and it was crazy and traumatic. I don't disagree with that, but you're not someone who's routinely getting punched by their partner or routinely getting beaten. You're not in Saudi Arabia living in slave-like conditions. You're not in Yemen fighting over a bean of rice, or a single bean and a bag of rice. Come on, Tophia. You don't suffer you suffered violence. You don't suffer it constantly. It happened to you once. You haven't been shot more than once.
Part where the carjacking happened, we were gonna go sit and eat McDonald's because we live on McDonald's. I was getting a Big Mac a cheeseburger with Mac sauce. And so, I think I got a Big Mac because they got a...
I always get a Big Mac. No, I get the cheeseburger all the time with Big Mac sauce. Well, actually, I got a Big Mac. Great story there, Tophia. Come on. I don't even remember. So, yeah, I think I got a Big Mac. No, I always get a cheeseburger with Big Mac sauce. No, I got a Big Mac. Actually, I don't even remember, you guys. What the fuck was the point of those 4 sentences? Why did you say any of that?
Sit at the park and the cops had the road blocked off, a big chunk of the road, so we had to take a detour. I look over, and there's a car parked with the door open in the caution tape. And I thought, oh, they arrested the person. That's why they're not in their car. And they're probably searching the car to see if they have any paraphernalia. That's what I thought. Then I looked and saw the sheet on the road. It was a body covered up with a sheet. And I knew that it was a dead body. And at that point, I just kind of freaked out a little bit. So I'm like, oh my God. And then she looked at me, she was like, what? And I said, that was a dead body. And then I saw the news, it was a 19-year-old boy, the guy got angry in a road rage, and he brake checked him, made a U-turn, peeled at him, and then took off. Mind you, they caught him because he kept driving back to the crime scene and a silver Mustang, and they caught him. He kept going back to the crime scene.
A lot of criminals do that. They feel the need to return to a crime scene. I could go into criminology. I actually took quite a few classes on it, and a policing class that I needed for a different degree, like where I actually learned how to conduct police investigations. I even have like a police textbook, which I bet a lot of criminals would like to have, because it describes kind of in detail what basic cops do and how they do it. Quite a useful textbook to have, in my opinion, but
I still struggle. Grief is very hard.
Yeah, it is. Grief is hard. Grief is hard, yeah, it does take time to process, but all you do is process. It's not like you're going to work and you only have 3 hours a day to think about things and focus on yourself, because the other 8 hours you're running around at your job and you can't think about all of it. And the only time you have to process is between the time you leave your job and when you go to sleep. You don't do shit, Tophia. So yeah, it's different for everyone, but you've had over a year, almost a year and a half now to process. Come on. God, I'm sorry guys, this is taking so long. I need to just keep going. But the problem is, again, when I'm outside here with all this fucking construction noise and these cars, if I feel like if I don't pause, I can't hear.
Responsible for my brother's death is very hard. I was asleep, trying to survive, trying to live.
First of all, if you're asleep, you're not trying to survive, you're asleep. Second of all, nobody's saying it's your fault as in you shot your brother. People are saying it's your fault for being in those circumstances to begin with, and it is. Because your aunt and uncle offered you a place and their only condition was you get your fucking ass off of social media and maybe try and find a job. And you're so against having a fucking job, you're so against getting off social media because you're so fucking addicted to it. I would bet Tophia $1,000 that she could not go 5 days without checking some sort of social media. I bet her $1,000. And I would even offer to take her cell phone away and she'd still find a way to do it. She'd go to the fucking library and still log on. So she's a total social media addict. And they're not saying you killed him. They're saying it's your fault that he was in that situation to begin with, which it was.
And
so
this guy did what he did all because he wanted a car.
Yeah, no shit. He was carjacking. Yeah.
That was not preventable. A carjacking can happen anywhere.
Okay, a carjacking, him stealing your car when he wanted to is the not preventable part. You being in the car was the preventable part. You were homeless sleeping in a car because you chose that over living with your aunt and uncle. Because you were in that car, he saw you guys in there and knew it would be a lot easier to steal that car because it means you got the keys in there, you got gas in there, you got everything that he needs to get up and go. Most people nowadays, Tophia, don't just hotwire cars while they're running from the fucking police, okay? You don't exactly have enough time to do it, and most cars are, you can do it with some, I'm not even gonna get into that, it doesn't even fucking matter.
And it's such a
but it's different from, 20 years ago where he could have just gone on hotwired a car,
I was gonna stay awake and get on my Switch, and I wouldn't do that. I went to sleep because I was like, I better get some sleep because then I'm tired. And we DoorDash one day, and I'm like, I'm going to fall asleep over DoorDashing.
But you're not driving, so what the fuck does it matter if you fall asleep while you're DoorDashing? Tophia, you could literally sleep the entire time you're DoorDashing. Or the only time you would even need to wake up is when you're bringing it to the door. What? Okay, again, she has no fucking idea what survivor guilt is like, okay? I'll just say it quickly. My father worked on the top floor of the South Tower of the World Trade Center for over 15 years. He was laid off less than 6 months before 9/11 happened. Everyone he knew died. I knew all of them too, myself. I was young at the time. I was about 10, but I knew all these people. They were friends with our family. My dad carried one of their caskets when he died, so these were people we were very close with. And that's some crazy survivor's guilt, okay? And I don't doubt Tophia has it to some level, but like it just fucking destroyed my dad. He already had a drinking problem. He went off the fucking deep end. And he never drank hard liquor either, just beer. But he was just pounding beer after beer after beer fucking every day to the point where he got liver cancer. So I mean, that's survivor's guilt in my, like, when I think about it, or I think about like troops that come back with it, you know, and they do the same thing. They self-medicate with alcohol and drugs, and it's really, really sad because survivor's guilt can be extremely powerful, almost more so than like your own, because it's guilt it's not your guilt. Like, you did nothing wrong. That's what's so insidious about it. Usually when you're guilty of something and feel badly and guilty about it, you know, like apologizing or repenting for it will give you catharsis. But in this situation, nothing will, because you didn't do anything that merits, like, forgiveness. The part that's rough is everyone else suffered and you just happened to luck out and not. So she might understand this to an extent, but I don't think she can. I don't think she has the emotional depth to be at the level I was just talking about. The system failed you, Tophia. You don't engage with the system. You don't have a fucking job.
I missed it because I wouldn't have made it in time, and it upsets me because he would have been the first one there. We were always on time to any car shows, any car meets. It's hard trying to grieve.
There's no way you were always on show to car meets and car shows. You always talk about how you would show up to them after they already started, and you were probably the least. If I had to wager on you showing up on time for something, I would never take that bet. I bet you're the least punctual person alive, since you just lay around all day in a fucking homeless shelter and then complain that you're tired.
It's hard.
Like, there's no way.
You tell me something when you can't put it on. I'm back in the car sometimes, and I can hear the box shatter. Just feel that.
I believe this. This was a real symptom of PTSD. I do believe that this probably happens to her.
Being back in the car, and no one knows what it's like.
But this is why you should be speaking to that therapist, which she hasn't really mentioned that therapist in the past 2 videos, has she? Or that counselor or whatever. Because again, my theory was, well, Vocal's theory was it wasn't a therapist, it was a counselor, and my further theory was that it was specifically a religious counselor, since he was at a religious shelter. You know, someone saying, oh, you gotta listen to the Bible. Oh, like, they're a counselor, they'll listen to what you're saying, but their answers, instead of being based in, like, psychiatry and psychology and therapy, will be based in the Bible. That was my guess. And it seems like that might be right, because you haven't been talking about therapy or your counseling or anything since then. Definitely weren't going to that counselor when you were living in that tent, if that was happening. So, like, talk to your therapist about this, Tophia. This isn't shit you unload on your audience. You wonder why people watch you to, like, mock you and do shit like this, is because you go online and spew some super personal shit like this.
That was living. You know what I mean? My mom didn't have a daughter before me, but she was born dead. I was the only living sibling I had, and it's hard. How do you process? It's like hard. It's hard.
How do you process? It's like hard. Well, I didn't see him. Tophia, once again, the only one that can do something like that. I saw him die. Well, okay, I didn't see him die.
Sometimes I tell myself, right, let's say to me, you would have been alive. Maybe I could have prevented it.
How? She's about to go into the story, I believe, and she talks about how she intentionally did not let the guy rip her out of the car. So how could she have prevented it? She actually actively was fighting the carjacker instead of just getting out and letting him have what he wanted. She literally will say in the stream, I wasn't getting out of that car. Why not? He's got a fucking gun pointed at you. Give him the fucking car. Jesus. The car's not worth more than your life. Have you not figured that out 1.5 years later, that the car was not worth your brother's life, like fighting this guy? She talks about like I used my weight to stay in the car. I fucking watched this already. I know she says that shit. You can't sleep, dude. The last video started off with you saying you needed to take a nap and how you had just woken up like 3 hours earlier and you were already tired. What the fuck are you talking about? You sleep all the time. You just have a fucking terrible sleep schedule because you'll stream and be up until like 1 in the morning. You're like Christian. You have no structure to your life. So like sleeping and being awake, it's like when I would be using and I wouldn't have a job, it's like everything blurred into, like one day blurred into every day because you just did the same shit. You might not even shower every day. Like, it just becomes one blur. And you're using too, which, you know, fucks with your memory a little bit. I have a good memory still even with that, but that's what ends up happening, you know?
People just don't know what someone is going through.
You're right. People don't know what someone's going through. Just like you don't. You don't know if someone's going through what you went through or worse. What the fuck do you know about it? It is. Not directly. No, you wouldn't, because you're not directly responsible for it. Again, you're missing everyone's point. You're responsible because that's the reason he was there.
No one knows what that is like.
I don't know what CVRC is, but whatever. Unless she was talking about CPR. I have no idea what CVRC is.
I can't function. No, it's not like.
But you couldn't function before this. Tophia, you had no job. You were like this before it happened. This hasn't changed anything for you. It hasn't made you better or worse. Maybe worse, actually. But it definitely, like, for the most part, nothing's changed. You're still in the same fucking spot. You still have no house. You still have no job. You still have no income. Now you have even less income because you don't have your brother. Like,
I just right now, I'm getting angry. I get mad. And I ask why. I don't want to blame God or punish for what I did at one point. I was angry. Why did you let my brother die? Why did you kill him? What did he ever do?
Is she religious or not? She spent like 2 whole videos that did comments on ranting about religion, how hateful it is, how Jesus was a fucking immigrant, which is one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Tophia thinks just because Jesus was black, it means he was an immigrant. That's how racist she is. Doesn't realize that being born in Bethlehem and dying in Jerusalem 10 miles apart would mean you technically are. I mean, I guess maybe back then you'd be an immigrant to Jerusalem from Bethlehem. You know what I mean? The 10-mile journey. Like, she's talking about him like he's an immigrant, you know, like in the United States. She's such a racist. That shit was hilarious to me, honestly.
It's a hard process. And his birthday coming up. He's telling me something about
The birthday is probably a hard day. I'm not gonna look. When I watch Tophia, I'm not like, when she says something true and shit like that, I try not to discount it, because otherwise then it delegitimizes everything else I'm saying, right? Like, when I think she's telling the truth, she is a pathological liar, so it's rare. But when she says stuff like this, I believe it. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this is all a fucking lie. Like, I believe she has the type of PTSD, the survivor skill, maybe not so much, or definitely not to the level that I've seen if she has it, you know, to the point it's not affecting her as mentally. And the other main point, though, which it would delegitimize me as well, is that she was like this before all of this happened. Before all this happened, she still refused to get a job. She still refused to engage with society and just reality as a whole. So she was already like this. It's just made it worse. You just said that? Oh, sorry, I rewinded it. That's my fault. Never mind. See? You'll be driving.
But sometimes I try not to. Well, why would you allow that to happen? Even though I know.
People say not to blame God, and sometimes I try not to, but I'm just about to blame God in the next sentence. So why do you say... This is like what I don't get. Like, why would you even say that then? Like, why would you say people... It's just to, like, be more... Like, another type of virtue signal, another type of victim thing. Like, it's so fucking... So annoying.
Question. Because someone told me, I know you're probably going to question God. It's not completely good use. It's not...
God, and once again, she's looking especially rotund. We can go back to the shot. This is pretty much this. She's wearing the same shirt. I think this might be from the same stream. Or she just hasn't showered or changed her clothes since the previous one. Because this is the same exact shirt, because I was confused that it was a new video at first, because she was wearing the same shit. And it's the same angle where you can just see her right leg, because she's so rotund that part of, like, most of her left body is off screen, so... Or not most of it, sorry, like, most of her lower left body is off screen. She's, like, sitting like she's, like, people call it, like, man spreading, like, that's how she's sitting right now. You know, Tophia spreading. I'm sorry, guys. This is taking forever. It's already 40 minutes. Just 20 minutes left. I'm sorry. I need to do better. This was because I did forget to speed it up for like 10 minutes. To be fair, this should have been about a quarter less time. You know, about 10 minutes.
He would have wanted to see the Jonas Brothers. He would have wanted to do these things, and he can't.
Why would your brother want to have done these things? You think her brother was a fan of the Jonas Brothers and Hillary Duff, a fucking 20-something-year-old man? I mean, if he was the way people describe all the time, I could see the Hillary Duff thing. Maybe he was still thinking Lizzie McGuire and not, you know, adult Hillary Duff in the whatever of Sharon Tate worst movie of all time category. You know, like, not to me, but like, you know, Razzie award-winning, like, piece of shit. You know, so like, what? Your brother loves the Jonas Brothers, a group that specifically appeals to young girls? I don't, like, I don't, like, that's so hard to believe. Like, why would your brother have been into that shit?
Because I'm like, why am I busy? I mean, when John spared me, I was the first target. When he came up to the car.
This is what I'm talking about, what I said earlier.
This went to Savers, and he would be, the first thing he would do when he got to Savers, he would run to the CD section and see what CDs they had.
What? Okay, I guess this isn't that part. All of a sudden we're talking about CDs.
Pulled it out, he was so excited. And he was like, look.
What is this happening? You were literally, okay, a second ago you were just talking about the carjacking. She was in the middle of telling it, and all of a sudden she's talking about CDs.
I don't even know when to get this.
What is going on? What the fuck are you talking about? I gotta speed this up for you guys. I'm sorry to catch up.
It had Polaroids in it, right? It was cool. And he had all these collections. He was like, oh, my God, you just can't be it. And I was like, fine, because I have it to Savers to make it big. So I better go. I'm not going to talk more.
Very good. Touchscreen.
To get to Savers because he took all the good CDs. We have a huge CD collection. Well, he does. I have a CD collection, but
Your dead brother has a huge CD collection that's just sitting in storage in an era where you go on Spotify and every song ever is on there for the most part. There's a few that aren't. You know, I can't find Adrian Champion's mix-up of rap and the White Stripes, you know. Can't find some specific shit like that. You know, some specific old school tape or CDs. Some of them are lost media, but also, what does it matter if he got the CD before you? He's your brother. You can just borrow it. Like, if he does, like, what are you talking? And also, she's about to talk. It was like Biggie and Tupac CDs. What? They only had one Tupac and Biggie CD when you were dude. You were a fucking kid. A couple of years after me, I was going to the mall when I was like 13. So that would have been like what, 2004, when Eminem was huge and rap was enormous. I think Eminem show came out that year. Like. You know, it was so big. There's no way they had one copy of these albums she's about to talk about. Yeah, he'll take all the CDs, all 20 Biggie CDs. Like, what are you talking about?
And I ended up buying CDs. And sometimes you would get CDs. I remember, well, I got lost in the car, but wasn't there. It was the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack. And it was the Leonardo DiCaprio one. When the one where Leonardo DiCaprio played Romeo. It was that sometime.
Yes, we get it.
One time
okay, she just said, I'm so excited I found it and I'm gonna buy it. Didn't she say a second ago that her brother... This is why I have to pause all this time. She just said 1 second ago her brother got it for her. She just said that. She literally just finished saying that in the same sentence. She didn't even put a period in there. There's been no punctuation, no comma. This is the same fucking sentence.
I had never found a Vicente Fernandez CD anywhere in any thrift store. And I said, I want to find a Vicente Fernandez CD
Vincente, I believe is how you say it. Not Vincente. Usually Italian names, it's like a hard C, like Calodria from Bronx Tale. Like Del Vecchio. C, hard C's. I don't know, I'm from an area, big Italian, big Irish, New York City area, just north of it. Big African American too, big Hispanic, pretty much big mixture of population.
Sometimes I'm thankful that we weren't angry when he passed away, that we were in some sort of argument, that we weren't on bad terms. Because I remember one time, we were leaving that car, and
dude, there's this video of her being like so mean to him, and he keeps just saying like, fine, Tophia, whatever. And then she's like, never ask me for help again with paying for that. He's like, don't worry, Tophia, I will not ask you for help again. This dude knew you're a fucking leech, man.
something happened.
Like, you think he was happy to be living out of a car with you and your mom? You think your brother, the only one working and bringing in income, was happy that he had to support both of you? Out of your mind. Out of your mind. Let me ask, because every time she, like, again, I'm pausing again, but I have to bring it up because she said it so many times. Like, the story I just talked about, right, where her brother asked her for money to pay for something, and then she, like, started screaming, crying in a stream and said, never ask me for money again. And he's like, don't worry, Tophia, I won't. Like, you contributed fuck. You contributed fuck and all. So I don't understand, like, you think your brother was happy to be the only one in a house or in a car supporting two other people off of a fucking assistant manager's salary? And not just two other people, like two kids that are his that he can get tax write-offs for and shit. Two other fully grown adults. You who weigh fucking 300 to 400 pounds. I mean, like, let's just be totally for real right now. You weigh probably 300 pounds. You think he's happy that he's buying all of your junk food and garbage every day? Like, no. You're out of your mind.
And something happened and I had to change my pants. So, I should have told my brother, but I took the pants into the thrift store, to the bathroom to change them. No, I'm just going to change because we were looking out of the car, so where was I going to go change? And I couldn't say, yeah, I had an accident because we were going to Walmart. And
you had an accident?
Like that. I think I had started my monthly, and that's what happened.
Okay, a monthly usually isn't described. Maybe some women describe it as an accident. I've never heard it described that way. It sounds more like you pissed or shit yourself. When I heard accident, I was like, wait, does she just mean she shat herself? But of course, it was her monthly. I've never heard someone describe it that way.
And I'm changing.
I'm sorry, guys. It's already 45 minutes. I'm trying to speed this up.
No, I just brought her in because I was changing. And she's like, wow. And then we went to go pay. They're like, well, we're going to have to ask you to leave. Because I guess they thought I stole them.
So yeah. The exact thing that they warned you about doing, like what you could have actually done is just picked them up, went to the front, said, hey, I'm having my monthly, I'm going to buy these, I really need to change into them. Instead, it sounds like you changed into them while you were bleeding, potentially got blood and shit all over them if it was that bad where you needed a new set of pants, and didn't pay them for it yet. It sounds like you might have even been trying to scam them out of it by doing that.
Leave. Then he got mad. He was like, I told you. You never listened to me. And I was like, well.
Well, he was right. Oh my god, I just said the same thing as him.
I couldn't do that at Walmart because you were going to Walmart.
No, but you could have gone in there and said that to them.
So then, it's very difficult.
And yes, you can walk around with stained pants. You're not the first one to have ever done it in history, ladies. So what? Wow, it's a little embarrassing. Wow, some people in Walmart you will never see again for the rest of your fucking life saw you with dirty pants. Oh my god, what a horror. No, instead you had to get banned from a store for stealing, eventually. And I bet you didn't even pay for that shit.
And I remember what he said, I just opened the door and I just slammed it and walked off. I was like, I'm not just going to deal with this. And then I went back. Because sometimes you can get really angry, and it's not things that people can't control. I helped a lot, but it wasn't for social media. You would have been able to pay off his Jetta.
Yeah, see, now she's bringing that up. Oh, the little bit of money she threw in that one or two times, hey, without her, dude wouldn't have even had a car. Yeah, well, without him, you would have been literally on the fucking streets. So, fuck you for... You're talking about honoring your brother and how much you miss him and shit. Fuck you for reducing what he did for both of you. Like, what a I imagine he's watching from heaven, listening like, wow, Tophia really is the worst fucking person ever. I really was the only one supporting any of them, and she's gonna downplay that and say that she's the fucking reason we were in that Jetta. That's unfucking believable, Tophia. You're disgusting for saying that. I don't care how fucking bad her brother was. That's irrelevant to this point because he's your brother and you didn't fucking believe that shit anyway. So I cannot fucking believe you just said that. That is so ugly and gross of you.
It's so crazy. How could I try something when I didn't even know the person who committed the carjacking? And I'm not going to argue with you with what you think. I'm just trying to recover. And the crazy part about it is that, oh, you didn't get hurt as bad as your family did. I'm not shot in the face.
Yeah, you definitely didn't get hurt.
Why did you want me to get more injured? Why would you?
Nobody did. They just said you weren't as badly injured, which is by far true. You didn't get shot. One was shot in the fucking neck or throat or face, and the other was shot in the head and killed. Yes, no shit, you were hurt.
I don't understand why people would want someone to get more injured.
That's not what they said. That's not what you said, at least.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that is what you're saying, not them. Wow, she had little scrape. Your brother got shot in the head and murdered. Your mom got shot in the mouth or head or throat and was in the ICU for like weeks. Wow, you got some scrapes on your arms. Fuck you, Tophia. Fuck you. You have little scrapes. Wow, thank you for pointing it out that is not as bad as what your mom got getting shot in the face. I would have never known that. And your brother got a fucking Mo Green special, but you got some scrapes on your arms, man. She's... This is where she says it. She's like, I wasn't getting out of there. Why? She's about to say it.
He tried to pull me out of the passenger window. I asked a stupid question like that when you know the answer to that. That really makes no sense. He did try to pull me out. I didn't say he pulled me out. He tried to. Because he literally said, he didn't say anything. He was angry. And for the long time, so what happened was he smashed my window. That's the reason he was trying to get into the car the whole time.
Yeah.
And he was angry because he couldn't get into the car, the door was locked. Mind you, he had always shot the window out. He could have just jumped in.
Well, you're sitting there, so what, he's gonna jump into a car filled with 3 other people? What, Tophia, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. He couldn't have just jumped in. If what you mean to say is he could have just unlocked the door and opened it, yeah, that's true, but someone carjacking at gunpoint probably isn't thinking very rationally, Tophia, especially when they murder someone and shoot someone else in the fucking throat.
Why he could have tried to get into the car, he could have just jumped in the driver's window like he did. After he could have pulled me or my mom out, that didn't make no sense to me. He kept trying to get in, he was trying to open the door. It was his adrenaline. To be honest with you, when your adrenaline is high, you're not thinking. And I think he wasn't thinking, he was just, his adrenaline was flowing. And he tried
Bro, you weren't thinking. But yes, his adrenaline was obviously like going crazy. The dude was not in the right state of mind. He was carjacking people and running from the police.
So he went to my window and he went, bam! He just punched the window and obviously he was able to break the glass because of his adrenaline.
I doubt he just punched it. He would have cut the shit out of his arm to the point where he might have even like died from bleeding out. I believe maybe he broke with a gun or something like that. Those windows are a motherfucker. As someone who's been in several car accidents, it's a motherfucker to break a car window. Especially to shatter it. Like, you can break it where it's like totally like shattered, but it's tempered, so it like stays inside of itself. It's not like little bits start falling off immediately.
You don't feel pain until after.
Not always. Sometimes you do. It depends on the amount of adrenaline and how serious the situation is and all that type of shit. Your mom's car or your brother's car? Sorry, hang on a second, you guys. I have to pause this because I might lose my Wi-Fi. But I have to go check something. Yeah, someone did shut the door that I would use to get back in. And I can't go back in on a lower floor because I don't have I can't use the elevator without a card to get to the floor I need to. But luckily I left the window open so I can still go back inside. Sorry guys, I just had to go check that, see if I was locked out or not. So right there, I'm not letting this man pull me out of this car. Why? Why? You think that's what a bank teller says when a bank robber comes in? I'm not letting this man rob this bank. No, they give it all fucking up and then call the cops after. Why the fuck didn't you just give up the car? Like, you're fighting a guy who you claim just punched your entire window in, which is wild. I saw the video of that cop doing it. He literally just ripped the window or like right off of someone's fucking car. That was wild. It is so hard to break those tempered glass windows. I'm just gonna say that. You claim he shattered it and broke in and was trying to yank you out the window, filled with tons. By the way, she talks about she had little scrapes. If it was busted like that, it would have been fucking glass everywhere that you'd be trying to drag your ass through. You would have been cut up like crazy because there would have needed to be a big enough hole to pull you through, which means that there would have been fucking shards of glass still in like a fucking like hollowed out circle around you. So, it doesn't even make fully sense. Yeah, of course she does. Convenient, she doesn't remember everything. Still doesn't make sense, though. Why not just give him the fucking car? He's clearly a carjacker. He will either shoot you and take the car, or you can give him the car. Why are you fighting this motherfucker? I don't understand it. Because what ended up happening is I can't claim this for certain. But what probably happened is because you fought him, you went around to the other side and said, I'm not letting this motherfucker fight me. I need to get the fuck out of here with this car. And he shot the other two people because he needed the fucking car and he wasn't waiting any longer. Maybe that's what happened, Tophia. Maybe you're even more guilty than just guilty of being there. Maybe that's possible. Maybe you fighting that guy made him say, I just have to kill these other two people so that I can get out of here. I don't have time to fight them. Maybe that's what he said. So exactly what she was saying, why didn't he do that before he did it? And she's about to say, like, well, of course, like, now he's, like, on top of us, like, because it makes no sense to do that.
So he just jumped in the driver's window. That's my brother. That's my brother dead. Because when he jumped in the window...
Okay, she totally left out the part where apparently her brother died. She skipped that entire part. She talked about him ripping her out of the window, and then you went around to the other side of the car, and she's like... And obviously, at that point, my brother's dead. That's not obvious at all. That's actually a huge component of that story you just skipped over. When was he shot? Was he shot while the guy was trying to rip you out? Like he was ripping you out with his left arm and he shot your brother with his right arm while he was in the driver's seat? Did he shoot him when he ran around to that side of the car? I would love... It seems like this shit changes all the time. Like, yeah, pulled out of a window light. Like, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like, when did he get killed? That he went around to the other side of the car, was able to just jump right into the driver's window, and your brother's body was either already out of the car or he was on top of your brother's body and then somehow pushed it out of the car while in a car. So imagine someone sitting in a car seat and then someone jumps in a window on top of them. So there's two fully grown adults in one car, in one seat with a steering wheel, by the way. So it sounds more like he either shot him while he was grappling with you, or you went around to the other side of the car, pulled the door open, and shot him and pulled him out. Because otherwise, how the fuck did you get your brother out the window? He's not yanking someone that big. People are hard to... Okay, again, I took a policing class. It's hard to carry people, okay? It's hard to carry a person for a significant distance or a significant height, especially when they weigh a lot. Sorry, guys, I paused too much there. Like, I want it to be done in an hour. It's probably gonna be an hour 15 at this rate. But, like, none of that makes any fucking sense is my point. If you just think about any of these angles. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and all of a sudden, next thing I know, I think he said get out. I don't know. Next thing I know, but I don't know. She literally just said the next thing I know, but then said she didn't know if she knew it. That's amazing.
I unlocked the door, got out. I was rushing because at that point I was trying to go to the other side to help my mom escape. But before I could get to the other side, I didn't run away. He had already taken off with the car. At that point, once I got out, he took off with the car. My mom said,
no shit.
And he's flying enough. She told me this from her perspective of what happened to her after he took off.
Allegedly.
I got with her. So she said that she told him to let me out. And then he goes, oh my God, he crashed into a Jeep. And at that point, my mom didn't even know her son was dead. I already knew my brother was dead, so I had to call 911. First, I freaked out. I was like, because my brain was processing. I had my
Yeah, no shit. I'm sure most people, when they're just the victim of a violent carjacking where one person's murdered and a second was shot in the face, would be, a little bit hysterical on the phone. Yeah, we all believe that. We get that. And that's that. Left out the whole part where her brother got killed. No idea how that happened. She just went from yanking the guy trying to yank her to, and obviously my brother's dead at that point. And even if that's true, his corpse is still in the fucking car. How did the guy jump into the car, get his corpse out of the car, and drive away in, I don't understand it, without you being able to go get your mom? That must have taken, at least 30 seconds, if not 60 seconds right there, right? And you're saying you ran immediately to the other side of the car to help your mom? It takes maybe 5 seconds to run around a car. If you're in the worst shape ever, to run from the passenger side front door to the backside driver's door, it takes you maybe 5 seconds. So what the fuck are we talking about, Tophia? When we're talking about that timeline from earlier, where you're just and obviously my brother's dead at that point.
Someone said that they were going to take me from this world.
Oh my God! But you know that that's not what happened. But you know it had nothing to do with that. You're aware of it. You went. This guy, they investigated it. He just was a random carjacking. You talk all the time about how you were the victim of random violent crime. This was not planned. This was not someone saying this shit. This has nothing to do with anything. Why are you bringing it up?
And I had because of that. And what was I doing?
What were you to think? That someone was, exactly what happened is what you're supposed to think. Unbelievable.
And she realized he was dead. And then she said, how something happened?
Unbelievable.
And somebody told her, thank you for the report. And she said, Mary, I was on the way. And then they're like, oh,
the way she just said that.
and then she realized,
And someone said, thank you for the gift points.
and somebody told her, thank you for the gift points. They said, Mary, I was on the way.
Thank you for the gift points. Ma'am, help is on the way. Good thing they told her about the gift points.
And then she passed out again and woke up in the hospital. Mind you, all this going on, they told me I could have seen her. So when people said, you didn't go see them already. I didn't even allow.
No, when they say right away, they mean when you were finally able to. Obviously, when she's in the middle of surgery and shock, trying to keep her alive. Because what happens to gunshot victims is more shock rather than, necessarily, quote unquote, bleeding out. It's actually shock and loss of, blood pressure and fluid. So generally, unless she's lost, they'll definitely give her red cells too, but it'll be more plasma to keep the blood pressure and everything up while they try and deal with the gunshot wound and stuff like that. They'll be transfusing red cells the entire time too, because while they're doing surgery or dealing with it, they obviously need a huge amount of red cells. But it's more about going into shock, if we're just going to talk about it from a medical perspective. People who get shot, especially depending where they get shot to, they might bleed out. But when you say bleed out, it's not like bleeding out like they have no more blood left in them. It's like the blood pressure in them dropped to zero because there's a hole. Basic fluid dynamics basically. Open up another pathway for it and it will follow it. And eventually, if you lose all the let's say it's hydraulic fluid, eventually you lose all of it. There's no pressure left in the system. You can't actuate it. So. Kind of comparing human blood to that, but yeah, decent comparison. Not the best. She doesn't even remember if she got interviewed about it. Yeah, I'm sure you didn't get interviewed about carjacking, homicide, shooting. Are you fucking kidding me, Tophia? Of course they interviewed you at some point.
I called the police, and that's when because I freaked out. I was bleeding. My coherence was not there because
you weren't thinking, but you thought enough to say help. Someone call 911. And I get exactly what you're saying. In instances like that, you lose your head, is what they call it. You don't know what to do, you freak out. But that's you saying that's you literally yelling out exactly what you need. You're not confused at all. You're very coherent if that's what you said. That's not what coherency is.
that Instagram story where I was freaking out saying that he did my birthday and took out the car, and I was freaking out on Instagram because I was alone. After I called the police, I was alone. So at that point, I
Oh my god. So it is true. So while you were sitting next to your brother's dead body and your mom is actively bleeding out and dying, instead of trying to help your mom staunch the wound, oh, you're right. I'm sorry. They drove away with her and like kicked her out, 10 feet away. So instead of like running after them and going to try and help your mom, you sat down next to your dead brother's body and made an Instagram post. Cool.
was in distress.
Because she felt alone and was in distress. When she's alone and in distress, what does Tophia do to solve that? She makes posts on social media. If I think I saw my brother or sister get shot in front of me along with my mom, I don't think I would be posting on social media anytime soon. So, I already post. Besides YouTube, I don't post on social media for shit. I don't have any other platform except for a fake book where it's not my real name, not my real date, nothing about it's real. I just use it because there's a few people I need to communicate with Facebook, and they know it's all fake because I don't want to give them my fucking information. But your first reaction after all that really was, and you're claiming it wasn't your first reaction because your first reaction was to call 911, even though you just claimed that you told other people to do that. So you still did it, which is fine. I understand that. You'd yell for people to do it and do it, but then you made an Instagram post waiting for the police. You didn't even think to try and help your brother. You're just I knew he was dead. Yeah, fucking Nurse Tophia over here just knew her brother was dead right off the bat. I'm sorry, guys. I meant for this to be an hour or less, and it's just over it.
I was just freaking out so bad. Obviously, you can hear the Insta story. And then it was after a couple weeks, and then the police came, they said, wait right here. The ambulance went speeding off. So the police came in and I saw the ambulance taking off, and I was like, oh my god. At that point, that really made me freak out because the ambulance is not scary. I was alone, so I walked.
Ambulance? That's scary. Didn't the ambulance speed off because of your brother? That's why it's. What are you talking about? If an ambulance came and your brother's dead, sitting there with a gunshot wound, they're gonna fucking put him in the ambulance, try and save him. For all you fucking know, he still had a pulse when they took him. You've never given us any details or anything about that. I bet if we read the fucking report, the whole fucking thing, we would learn way fucking more about this. If anyone out there wants to do a fucking freedom of information request with me on this shit, I will gladly do it if we can get that information. I don't really know how to do those very well. I've looked into it once or twice, but I've never actually had to do it, go through with it. But I would fucking be totally willing to throw in money for that shit. To get the fucking real story from the police, or at least the story from an unbiased source, the police who interviewed everyone, looked at all the evidence, all that type of shit. I would love it if we could do a FOIA request on that. I don't know about New Mexico, how, Florida with the sunshine laws versus New Mexico, I don't know. But I would fucking throw in money on that to see actually what the police wrote is what happened, because none of what she has said made any fucking sense.
I saw the clothes or whatever it was that was out of the car from the car that happened, and I started to freak out. And then I had contacted one of my relatives to contact my mom's brother, and then my whole family, and they were notified. And then they came, and I was sitting there like you. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it because I don't know how people do, maybe because of the car. Some people with social media showed up, and one of them was sorry for your loss, Tophia. And I was I couldn't.
You don't know? Okay, Tophia. Are you the dumbest person alive? You don't know how people know? You just admitted to making a fucking Instagram post about it while waiting for the police to show up. You made an Instagram post in between the time you got carjacked and your brother was killed and the time the police showed up. That's how they knew about it. What the fuck are you talking? This is why she drives me so crazy, and why it's so awesome and so funny at the same time, because no one else can make me this animated and this out of my mind. You're so out of your mind.
They were what is wrong with people? What is wrong with you?
I think your family, your aunt and uncle, were probably in shock for a different reason. Yeah, they're probably thinking, what is wrong with you? Why didn't you come stay with us instead of live in a fucking car just because you want to be on social media? Also, your hair is really disgusting. Maybe take a shower while you're in the hospital here. They'll probably let you. I bet that's what they were thinking. I swear to fucking God, that's what they were thinking. I would be more willing to bet that than whatever bullshit she's claiming she thinks her relative or like.
And people literally run social media. I know this is what happened to me. And I think people want to get their condolences. I'm not bashing that, but there's a respectable time and place for things.
Okay, Tophia, you posted online within minutes of it happening that you were the victim of a violent crime. Whoa, I almost just fell and just died. I literally almost just fell down a cement staircase and killed myself. Anyway, I'm gonna sit to finish this now. Tophia, you posted it online. Damn, I fucking just bruised the shit up. Okay, wow, that was bad. Sorry, guys. Holy shit. Sorry, so off topic, but that was really bad. I just tripped really badly on that staircase and I almost just died. In a parallel universe where it just diverged, I'm fucking dead at the bottom of the staircase right now. So, but Tophia, you posted online about it and you're wondering why people came by to like give you support and condolences. You always talk about how you think you have like all these fans and all these supporters and shit. And a few people actually did come by and you just said, and like, I get that you want to give your condolences, but there's a time and place for that. When would the other time and place have been? When you're back at the shelter? Like, yeah, let's just get a stream of visitors at the shelter. Anyone who's gone to shelters, they don't really let that happen. You can't really just go in there and chill, you know? Like, I used to have to drop off the people I would either use with or get or score with from or with, like, back at the shelter. I never went in with them. Maybe once, like, just to, like, with the one guy who, the one guy who had a broken leg.
He said, I can see the car, I contact. I don't know how people, what is wrong with me, because what is your
Sorry, here's where we are.
Some people on social media showed up, and one of them was like, sorry for your loss, Sophia, and I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Sorry guys, I should have finished this 10 minutes ago if I didn't almost kill myself on the stairs.
What is your doctor? That's what's wrong with you. You show up.
I'm sorry, this is longer than a 2-to-1 even. The count of an intro and me almost dying. What do you mean what goes through people's minds? That's a great question, Tophia. What was going through your mind when you were sitting at a crime scene with your dead brother and you decided to make an Instagram post while waiting for the cops to show up? You're like, hey, I got nothing better to do, you know? Why staunch my brother's wounds? Why try and save him? Why try and even, I don't even, even if you don't know CPR, you know what it looks like. You know how to press down on someone's chest to keep their fucking blood. Like, come on. You didn't try shit. You just sat down, waited for the cops, and made an Instagram post. That's what everyone's talking about, Tophia. How gross that is. Because that is fucking disgusting. That's a fucking disgusting thing to do. And you should be disgusting with yourself.
I'm not bashing that, but there's a respectable time and place for things.
Sorry, here we go. Yeah. When else would they have shown up? When you're back at the shelter? They're the actual few fans you have to support you. Maybe one or two of them are trolls, but most trolls won't show up to a hospital to harass people because they know they're going to get kicked out. Wow, you look horrible doing that. Please don't do that. Sorry, guys. This is longer than an hour. I'm sorry, this is an hour 15. This should have been an hour if I didn't fall on my intro short.
It was just so busy. And my uncle was just freaked out because that's when they got my family was freaked out. My mom's family was like, that's when they got first glimpse of the social media stuff. It was not a good glimpse of it because that's crazy. You know what I mean? They didn't really feel this place.
Okay, clearly that's also a lie because they knew about it already because you had denied their request to get off of social media in exchange for housing. They already knew about a ton of your social media, maybe not the full extent, but they knew that you were just doing it, not working, laying around, filming yourself all day, as if you're the most fucking interesting man in the world from the Dos Equis commercial. Come on, Tophia. What do you mean? You're like, yeah, no shit. I bet your aunt and uncle were more than surprised and shocked. I bet they were pissed. I bet they were fucking pissed at you for not being You are such a fucking selfish, narcissistic person that you couldn't give up social media so that your mother and brother could have a house and a bed to sleep in. That's the type of person you are. You always talk about, I'm a good person on the inside, I'm a good person on the outside. No, you're not. That's the type of person you are. You're so selfish that instead of letting your brother and mother have a bed or at least a couch, a roof to sleep under, you chose social media. And that forced them to live in a car, which then resulted in a carjacking. And guess what? If you guys were living in a house and sleeping in an apartment, when that carjacking happened, your car would have been empty, so he wouldn't have shot anyone in it. Like, again, I'm not directly blaming you. It is that person's fault. But why were you in that situation? You're a fucking greedy, narcissistic hypocrite. You were so bad today. I cannot fucking believe this video is this long. I thought I'd get this to an hour. It's hour 15. Like, there's just so much to say. Like, so often with her. Like, all that. Like, it's just wild. That's why she's the best lockout. It's just like always interesting. It's always something different, even though it's still all the same types of like paranoia and delusion. It's at least like slight, like she's always changing shit and like making shit up and just like out of her mind and just doing crazy shit. Like just stuff that makes no fucking sense. Thinks she needs a 3-bedroom apartment so she doesn't have to have her storage anymore, which it has admitted if she only had a 1-bedroom apartment, it would make it look like a hoarder's den. So why you wouldn't just still keep the storage unit for the gigantic pile of trash you have in it, I don't understand. Probably because you wouldn't be able to afford it because you have no income, so you wouldn't be able to afford both the Section 8 tousing rent and the storage unit. And your logic would be, well, now I have a place, so I don't need a storage unit anymore. My place is my storage unit. Tophia, you need to go down to that storage unit and throw fucking 90% of that shit away. It's all fucking junk. Vocal has said the same thing. It's all a bunch of fucking garbage. Either your brother's old garbage and toys and t-shirts and shit. Which, okay, keep a couple things. Like, he said this exact thing. He said keep a couple sentimental things, a shirt, maybe something that he liked a lot. Is a musician, keep an instrument or something like that, Then whatever else is in there in yours, determine what is and isn't garbage. But 90% of that shit could be chucked right in the fucking trash. And you probably wouldn't even have to pay for that storage unit. So... yeah, I don't know. But that's like crazy to think that as soon as she gets an apartment, she's going to cancel a storage unit and move a gigantic pile of garbage into a brand new apartment immediately. As soon as she gets an apartment, she's going to turn it into a fucking hoarder's den. How crazy is that? She's admitted that shit on camera. So anyway, you guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry it went this long. I shouldn't have almost fallen down the stairs and killed myself, and I should have made the intro a little bit less long. I wanted this to be 60 minutes around here. I was hoping for 50. I'm just not at vocals level yet where I can keep up with it without pausing, especially with the noise out here. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a good one wherever you are in the world right now.